the Sparks, and check this out right here. And she grabs the player by the ponytail, yanks her to the ground. There is a pattern here, folks. I'm just saying. The Skylar Diggins situation, no, I'm not, I don't know what that means, but there's a lot of...
Instead of celebrating playoff intensity, all eyes are on Dijonai Carrington. Viral clips of her controversial plays, including a hair-pulling move that shocked fans, are taking over the conversation. What is the WNBA's next move, and why does it matter so much? Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great, thank you so much. Now, back to the video. Imagine this. Sarah Ashley Barker is diving for a loose ball. Suddenly, Dijonai Carrington grabs a handful of her hair and yanks her back. Fans watched in disbelief as the refs called it a loose ball foul. Not a flagrant, not an ejection, just a routine foul. Social media lit up with clips of the incident spreading like wildfire.
A world
if she would have had extensions,
where that is not premeditated, pre-planned. She looked up, she said, "Oh, look at that!
Whoa.
Look at that ponytail! Let me yank." As you can imagine, there is a lot of blowback. A lot. I think pulling a girl's hair should be an automatic flagrant. It's dangerous for someone's neck. Not to this play, but many others. You should be held accountable when someone is seriously injured, and it's going to happen.
People couldn't believe it. How does something so blatantly aggressive get such a mild ruling? And the bigger question, was this just a one-time fluke or part of a troubling trend? Carrington's name keeps popping up in heated conversations for all the wrong reasons. It's not just about that moment. Take the eye rake against Caitlin Clark earlier this year. Clark, one of the youngest stars in the game, ended up visibly shaken during her playoff debut. Fans accused Carrington of deliberately trying to sideline a major talent in what should have been her breakout moment. And let's not forget the hits on Gabby Williams and Skylar Diggins. Both players looked stunned after physical encounters that left audiences questioning if Carrington's aggressive style risks crossing the line into dangerous territory. Here's where it gets complicated. Some argue Carrington is simply doing what it takes to thrive in such a competitive league. The WNBA isn't exactly a place for soft play, but the number of incidents tied to her is hard to ignore. This season alone, she's racked up more flagrant fouls than almost any other player. Stats that make it feel less like coincidence and more like a pattern. And here's the twist. Last season, one of her flagrants was rescinded entirely. Critics say this inconsistency sends mixed messages about what the league considers acceptable behavior. Now, let's go back to Caitlin Clark. Her playoff opening was one of the most anticipated moments of the year, but that eye rake overshadowed everything else. Fans were furious. Analysts pointed out that targeting such a promising star reflects badly on everyone, player, team, and league alike. So why hasn't the WNBA taken a stronger stance?
How about I keep it real? Let me yank the white girl to the ground. There we go. There, it's out. I hate to say it, but look, aside. There, like I told you earlier, you need to watch. There's a bit of a pattern here. Criticism justified. Get her off the court. Hey, this person, Kathy Engelbert, you're the problem. Since you seem to think this kind of play is acceptable.
Is Carrington being given leeway because of her competitive reputation? Or is the league hesitant to make her a scapegoat? What this comes down to is perception. Does the WNBA want to be known for fiercely competitive games or for prioritizing the safety of its stars? The moment the WNBA ruled Dijonai Carrington's hair-pulling incident against Sarah Ashley Barker a simple loose ball foul, the backlash was immediate. Fans flooded social media, furious that something so aggressive could receive the same punishment as a minor shove. But this wasn't just about one incident. It marked the tipping point for many who believe the league's disciplinary actions, or lack of them, are starting to hurt its credibility. Critics like Jason Whitlock didn't hold back. On his show, he called out the WNBA, accusing them of playing favorites and failing to protect their players. Whitlock even labeled the eye rake on Caitlin Clark as intentional assault, and suggested that Clark is being targeted specifically because she's a rising star. And honestly, he's not alone. Some fans agree that the lack of serious repercussions for Carrington is sending a bad message, that certain players might get special treatment while others, like Clark, are vulnerable on the court. This issue isn't new either. Last season, one of Carrington's flagrant fouls was rescinded after the fact. While some said it was a fair call, others saw it as a sign that the league bends the rules when they want to. On top of that, analysts have pointed out how officiating often seems lenient during games involving Carrington, adding more fuel to the fire that there's an uneven standard at play. Then there's Caitlin Clark again, arguably the biggest new draw for the WNBA. People are asking why the league didn't take stronger action to protect her after the eye rake incident earlier this year. A handful of analysts have even floated the idea that Clark might need an enforcer on her team, someone to physically stand up for her. It's a wild thought, but it shows how seriously some think the league needs to tighten its enforcement to prevent incidents like these. At this point, fans aren't just upset about Carrington. They're questioning whether the WNBA is capable of holding anyone accountable. But is this a failure of leadership? Or is there something more complicated happening behind the scenes? Whether Dijonai Carrington is a fierce competitor or a growing liability, one thing's obvious. The WNBA is standing at a significant crossroads. The league's handling of her controversies has sparked a larger debate. Is it prioritizing performance over safety? The next move rests in Commissioner Kathy Engelbert's hands, and it's not just about punishing one player. This decision will send a clear message about the league's values to players, fans, and even sponsors. So here's the real question. Does the WNBA step up and enforce its standards, or does it risk losing credibility? What would you do if you were in charge?